inch of Trump and MAGA off himself. As you all know, he hopped on the bandwagon in the last election. He was literally at the inauguration, y'all. He was like a guest of honor at the inauguration. He got shout-outs at the fucking victory speech, okay? This guy was an unofficial campaign surrogate. That's
okay. In this clip, we're going to watch Kyle Kulinski dismantle Joe Rogan, because now Joe Rogan wants to say that Joe Rogan wants to turn around and forget about Trump. Apparently, this is what's going on. Joe Rogan wants to rewrite history. Joe Rogan wants to backtrack on Donald Trump because Joe Rogan is afraid. Joe Rogan is not, okay, my channel is not number one on YouTube or anything, okay, guys? So nobody's getting crazy here. But Joe Rogan's not number one on, like, Spotify and SoundCloud and stuff anymore. Like, Joe Rogan has fallen, like, lowered on the list, declined on the list, and this, which means that Joe Rogan's not getting as many views. And I do believe that Joe Rogan is realizing that Joe Rogan's fans are ditching. And this is Kyle Kulinski that's going to dismantle Joe Rogan and explain why those fans are ditching. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the clip.
What he was. He had on Trump. He gave him a hot stone massage. He played patty cakes with him. He powdered his bottom and told him he was special. You all know this. Everybody knows this. He went full-on right-wing hack. Now, here's the thing, though. Joe always generally liked to position himself as, I'm like an enlightened centrist. Right? I'm above the fray. I'm not right-wing. I'm not left-wing. I have some right-wing ideas. I have some left-wing ideas. But really, I'm just about reason. I'm just about logic. I'm about, the common sense position on the different issues. And I'm kind of an enlightened centrist. So this was the lane he wanted for himself. But he got a little high on his own supply. He snuggled up to the wrong people. And he ended up going full MAGA. Now, the problem is he now realizes how bad that looks. He now understands, oh shit, what have I gotten myself into? I basically told 50 to 60% of the country to fuck off and that I hate them in so many words, right? I kind of made clear this is a right-wing safe space. My podcast is now a MAGA safe space. And so he made his bed and now he's going to sleep in it. So now
yeah, so the introduction is long. We're going to get to the clip because this clip, I think, Kyle's not the only person who covered this clip, whatever this is. I'm anxious to see it. A lot of people, I saw it on like a few other people's, channels or whatever. So I want to see what Joe Rogan says. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. But yeah, he's right about Joe Rogan real quick. Joe Rogan started having, I think Peter Thiel was on the show. Can somebody remind me? Was Peter Thiel on the show? But anyway, but also too, please don't forget that the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to everybody who's been watching. I've been seeing the comments. I'm gonna go back and comment. Thank you so much for the comments. The comments are really good. I appreciate the support, guys. And let's get back to the clip.
Works. When Joe's sitting across from somebody who leans left, he'll say left-wing shit. When he's sitting across from somebody who leans right, he'll say right-wing shit. He's a chameleon. He's a shapeshifter, right? So here we go. This is what he just had Duncan Trussell on again, and listen to the rant he goes on about immigration. This is something. Watch.
Let's just talk about the immigration thing. The way it looks is horrific. When you're just arresting people in front of their kids and just normal, regular people that have been here for 20 years, that everybody who has a heart can't get along with that.
No.
Everybody who has a heart sees that and goes, that can't be right. That can't be right. That can't be the only way to do this.
Right.
Because you have to think, look, yeah, we have to have a border. Yes, it should have been secure. Yes, they should make sure you know who everybody is before they get in.
Yeah.
But when people have been here for 20 years, like, come on, man. That's crazy. Like, let's find a way. If they've been productive members of society for 20 years, no criminal record, they worked the entire time, they paid taxes, find them a pathway to citizenship. Find a way where you can do this thing that you want to do, which is keep terrorists and cartel members from getting across the border with drugs that kill 100,000 people a year. Okay, but also have a fucking heart. Because if you don't, you're not going to get anybody on your side. If you're doing this stuff publicly, throwing women to the ground, handcuffing people, just for existing on the wrong side of the dirt. Not a criminal. Not the only crime they ever committed was coming over here as a kid. They probably didn't even know what the fuck was going on.
Man.
A lot of kids got snuck across when they were already born in Mexico. They've grown up their entire life in America. They can't even speak Spanish.
He acts like, who could have seen this coming? I thought he was just going to go after the criminals. Really, the mass deportation now signs didn't tip you off as to what was coming? Because I got news for you. In order to do mass deportations, You can't just go after criminals. That's not how it works. The percentage of undocumented immigrant violent criminals in this country is infinitesimally small. It is tiny. And so you blow through deporting all of them in like a week. So we can do the rest of the time. No, mass deportation now meant exactly what it said. Mass deportation now. And that's exactly what he's doing. And so he's rounding up innocent people all across this country. He also did the thing where they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. That was about legal immigrants. Legal immigrants. So it was very clear he's going to go out.
That was about Haitians, y'all. And like, it was just... that mess was funny though. Like, and I'm Haitian, and I'm telling you, like, I did laugh. You know, because it turned into this big thing that, you know, like, look... I don't know. It was just campaigns. I don't get too worked up over things. I don't. That's why I'm on YouTube. If I was a softie, I wouldn't make it. All right.
After legal immigrants, he's going to go after green card holders. He's going to go after people who simply disagree with him, right? He's going to go after the homegrowns. The homegrowns. We're going after the homegrowns. So it's just incredibly naive to say this. Now, by the way, if you read the comment section of this episode of Rogan, it's all of Rogan's right-wing MAGA fans who are blasting him over this. They're blasting him over this. Acting like Joe is being the unreasonable one by saying, hey, only go after the criminals. So, like I said, chickens are coming home to roost. You made your bed and now you're sleeping in it. You fucking alienated every single person who's center to center left to far left from your audience. Now, you got, congratulations, you got Rush Limbaugh's audience, you got Sean Hannity's audience, I hope you're happy. And now when you say, hey, maybe we should only go after the criminals, that's the reaction from your own fans. And this is, the Vanguard guys made a great point. They said this is like him and Duncan Trussell trying to recapture the old magic. This is back when Rogan was the most relevant he's ever been. He was like the king of online media, the king of the podcast world. And back then, he went on this famous rant, but it didn't ring as hollow because back then he had never endorsed Trump. In fact, he had supported Bernie. And so somebody who supports Bernie doing this rant, well, that makes perfect sense. But then this same guy, keep this in mind, guys, this is so important. This same guy from this rant that you're about to watch from, I think, 2018, he went on to endorse Trump and coddle his nuts.
A lot of people online talking about this immigrant issue, and they either don't have kids or they don't think it could happen to their kids. Their idea is, hey, shouldn't have fucking come over here. You get those kind of people. Broke the law. Shouldn't have fucking come over here if you could. You didn't want to get your kids separated. If you were in the presence of a woman who came over here from Guatemala and she's poor and she's starving and they're taking her baby away and she's wailing and screaming from a primal place in her DNA that the one thing she loves more than anything is being taken away. A baby. Yeah. If that doesn't freak you the fuck out, you're not a part of the team, man. You're missing it. You're missing it. What are we here for? We're here for 100 years of whatever. That's what we're here for. If you want to spend 100 years saying, hey, you should have fucking broke the law, I don't want you on the team. You're an asshole, right? And I don't give a fuck if you're right or left. I don't care if you're religious or I don't care if you're an atheist. If that's what you support, you're an asshole, and we don't want you on our team. Okay? So, but if you agree with certain economic policies that I don't agree with, and we can have a discussion about it, we can figure out why you agree, and we can figure out why people are allowing all this money to get into politics. Why are we allowing all these special interest groups and lobbyists to interfere with our laws and influence our politicians and create all this shit that we don't want? Well, here's the number one reason. You can't just vote online. You can't just vote. It's not one person, one vote.
You get the gist of it. Some people might watch this segment and might say to me, well, Kyle, what the fuck? At least he's breaking with Trump now. So why don't you just accept it? Well, here's the problem, right? In the midst of doing this rant that he just did, saying something that's like more pro-immigration than anti-immigration, that's great. But you'll notice something. There is never a direct Trump call-out. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because he's in the club. He's in the inner circle. Like I said, he was at the inauguration. He's buddy-buddy with all these people who are like top officials. He had J.D. Vance on. He had Trump on. He's Dana White is his boss, but also his friend. And Dana White is one of the biggest Trump supporters in the world. And so he doesn't have it in him to do a clean, hard break and say, look, I fucked up. We should have supported Kamala. She would have been way better than...
I mean, the only reason why, please, all these people, they're all establishment in their own way. I don't understand. A lot of people are privy to information, but they don't get it. So let me break it down for you. Like, I understand Kyle Kulinski's rant because I don't know why people are shocked. In fact, the mass deportations are not even at the records that they're not at the numbers that they're supposed to be that Trump promised his base. So it's like for show, right? We go back to the story of Joe Rogan talking about the Guatemalan mom and the baby. Listen, if you want me to lie to you guys, I can't. We progress in thought process here. We do not glaze any, party. These establishments are all the same. Number one, I remember the time when a lot of that stuff was happening. You have to understand, and I'm telling you this, and I know this, that there are people who come with the kids. Those aren't their kids. There's a lot of movement of children in the United States of America. And that part I will leave right there because I am not going to lose this channel, but you all know what I mean. So, they tell you these stories, but there's more to the story. Let's put it that way. With that, Republicans don't want to get rid of a bunch of illegal immigrants. They don't. You know why? Because that is their workforce. Okay? And that's a fact. That's why Trump threw out. Nobody talks about all the amnesties Trump threw out. His base is mad about that. See, the thing is, this thing is just a big show. It's like the whole thing is a big show. When Kyle Kulinski says that things would have been better under Kamala, the only reason why I slightly lean that way is because the base, the people, it is we the people. The Democrats don't necessarily glaze the leadership because they didn't glaze Biden when, all that stuff started happening. The genocide started in Gaza. They didn't glaze him. They went right to the White House. Shout out to the Democrats. I was like, oh, wow. It's like, so we the people have to be the ones to fix anything. But Kamala would have had her list of things to do too, right? But the only thing is that I believe that base would have stood up and banged. Unlike the MAGA base who's like, this is what I voted for, this is what I voted for, this is what, that's all you ever hear. And it's just like, bro, like, yeah, we just bombed fishermen in the sea, this is what I voted for, bro, let's take Venezuela. And then y'all will be the same ones crying about refugees coming here. Make it make sense. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.